Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another episode of Foxborough Central. My name is Bob Hickey. I am your host, and I'm so glad you're taking the time to join me and my guest as we talk about the people, places, and events that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And for those of you who live in Norfolk County, you surely are part of the sales network for the libraries. One of the best libraries, in fact, I would say the best library, of course I'm biased, I live here in town, is our own Boyden Library. Begun in 1868 across the street from our studios here at Foxborough Central. We, of course, are now located on the corner of Bird and Baker. And the building currently was built in 1968, and the addition was built in 2013. So our beautiful new, we'll call it new, Boyden Library is ably manned by the not so recently joining us, Manny Leite. How are you doing, Manny?
I'm doing well, Bob. How are you?
I'm doing great usually, and my apologies to my friends out here in Foxborough Cable Access land, but I usually introduce ourselves and introduce you to the community when you arrive. I'm about 2.5 years late on that, so my apologies.
Okay. No worries at all.
But I have come to know you, and I really enjoy all the dynamic things you're doing at the Boyden Library, the programs, the way that the outreach has sort of blossomed under your leadership. So I'd love to just talk a little library if you could.
Sure can. Well, number one, Foxborough is such a wonderful community. You know, it reminds me of, I grew up in Tiverton, Rhode Island, which is about 45, 50 minutes away. And it was a close-knit community, and I feel that, and it has a sense here in Foxborough. It has great leadership from our town manager to selectmen. But what's great about it are all the various departments, and they all work together, which is nice to see. Not every town is like that. It's very nice to see that here. And then the citizens of Foxborough, they are very supportive with the library, which is fantastic. You know, they show up to various programs, they check in materials in and out at the library. They're using the online resources.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. I thought libraries were dead. I thought that with the internet that the current technology was gonna render them obsolete. I thought that the Boyden Library was just about to be relegated to the dustbin. What are you saying?
Absolutely not. On the contrary, you know, libraries over time have evolved. I had started back in libraries over 20 years ago, and back then it was VHS that was introduced to the library. And at that point, Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and your local mom and pop video store, that was going to be the end of libraries. Fast forward 20 plus years later, Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, and all the other ones are gone. Libraries are still standing.
True.
We just evolve, you know, we just change with the times, you know, and I think that comes from, you know, leadership at the library, trying new things. It's such a beautiful facility, you know. I go by the motto of the great movie Field of Dreams: if you build it, they will come. And we did that here in Foxborough. We have such a wonderful facility, so now we're getting more and more people to the library, going to programs or just checking their internet, their email and whatnot. So,
always love a program where we can get a good James Earl Jones quote in. That's extraordinary. So speaking of movies, we here in town have been seeing some pretty interesting new programming come. One of those is free community movies. Why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is something that I started when I was director in East Bridgewater. We were able to obtain a license through public libraries to show current contemporary films. And again, it's just another way of getting people into the library, because, I mean, let's be honest, I mean, it is so expensive to go to the movies these days. You know, I haven't gone to the movies in years because it's just too expensive, and, you know, $10, $15 just to watch a movie. At the library, we show contemporary films. We just showed Murder on the Orient Express. We have Thor, the new Thor movie coming out in April. And we show it in our community room. And it's a great facility. And we show children's movies as well. We're going to be showing Coco coming up during the April vacation.
Great.
And kids as well as adults are more than welcome to bring snacks or soda or bottled water or whatnot, popcorn.
That's
just
interesting
enjoy
to
the
hear.
movie.
I
Yeah.
bet a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's just another way of, because everyone, there's still that stigma out there that libraries are just books and it's a very quiet place. Well, no, the library is a happening place. You know, we should, like movies, we have music concerts, we run the whole gambit, you know, at the library. So
Music concerts, and you have some. I know you have a very robust schedule coming up this summer. So,
We do.
Given that this program is being filmed just as I know there's still a lot of snow on the ground, but we're all excited about summer coming. So, what's coming up this summer at the Boyden Library?
Well, we're going to start a new series. We normally have a Sunday concert series, and we had some great programs towards the end of March and April. We have a Johnny Cash impersonator coming. We have a Beatles tribute band that's going to be coming. But I started something new for the summertime, and it's called Boyden Unplugged. It's basically a solo artist to come by and to sing originals as well as cover. Some of these I have just found for various. My wife and I will go to a winery or a microbrewery, and you see individuals just singing. Maybe it's a duo or whatnot, and just singing their original material. So I have a number of singers coming by for the summertime. We have one young lady who attends Vanderbilt, Grace O'Shea, and she's going to be singing at the library, as well as various individuals doing country to bluegrass. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting with the reopening of the Orpheum or the Marilyn Robbins Center, and with your new programming, as well as the JC's Summer Concert Series, Foxborough is beginning to get that cultural feel and get that evening event vibe going on that people for so long have been saying. And you know, it's interesting that hopefully some of the restaurants will then start to recognize that there are things going on, particularly at the library with your diverse selection that should appeal to so many different people.
I think so. I mean, and it all starts with like innovators like yourself who have done a tremendous job. I remember it known as the Orpheum. I used to go to the Three Stooges festival with my dad. And then
Well,
my
on
son.
another program, we'll talk about that coming up this December 26th, but not today.
Okay, well,
We'll
that's
do
a
that
good thing. And it's it has so much charm, the theater. So I give you kudos for doing some great things and just the things that you have upcoming in the future. I think Foxborough needs that. Same thing with the JCs. They do such a tremendous job. I was just floored by the things that they do. Music, and then during the holidays, they do the decorating with the ornaments, and that actually starts at the library where the little ones can go there and decorate an ornament and then walk over to the center of town.
In partnership with the Foxborough Recreation
Exactly.
Department. As you mentioned, all the town departments work well together. It is an integrated community as far as the partnerships. And one of the partnerships, in fact, coming up is at the Marilyn Robbins Center. You're holding your annual gala. I'm very excited about this because from the library's standpoint, this is an annual event. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but it's underwritten. It's a big to-do, and you have a really interesting speaker coming in this year.
Yes, I'm the type that likes to swing for the fences, and I certainly did. My choice was Gregory Maguire, author of Wicked, as well as many other novels. And I had reached out to his agent, and I knew he lives nearby, and explained the situation, and would love to have him in the fall. And he agreed.
How interesting.
Which is great, and it's going to be held at the Marilyn Rodman Center. It's going to be on September the 26th.
Okay.
And we're going to go all out. We're going to have food. There's going to be refreshments, beverages there. And Gregory's going to have a PowerPoint, and he's going to discuss not only his new novel, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to ask about Wicked or Son of a Witch or Lost, some of his older, more famous works. And he'll be more than happy to answer those questions. So
You just tossed out a number of novels that everybody recognizes from being on TV. So, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at you scoring the.
Well, like I said, I swing for the fences, so now I really have to outdo myself next year. So I'm already the wheels are already turning for 2019. You have to stay ahead of these things.
Well, we then have a responsibility at Foxborough. We need to get out on September 26th and support Manny Leite, the director of the Boyden Library here in Foxborough, and show that his good work is supported and appreciated. So that's a great thing coming up. But you have much more going on this summer than your annual gala.
Oh, yes. I mean, let's start with the children's program. And let me speak about Margie Rossetti, who's been a children's librarian and a staple at the Boyden Library. Each year, she outdoes herself when it comes to the summer reading program, and she's already working on all the programs. I mean, you have to start really early because these performers, they get booked pretty quick. Obviously, every year, and we're doing it again this year, we're doing the Teddy Bear Picnic, which is a great time where
everybody loves that.
They love that. The little ones can come out, they bring their teddy bear, and there's storytelling and singing. And at the end, Smokey the Bear makes an appearance, takes pictures, and the kids just love that.
That's great.
So, Margie will outdo herself again this year. She has been doing this for a long time, and each and every year she comes up with some great, innovative new programs for the library. So, I mean, just that between the concert series that will continue through the summer, we'll have a summer reading program as well. We're also going to have Dustin Pari. Now, he's been at the library several times. He is known for the show Ghost Hunters. He was one of the stars of that show. And he's going to be coming back in June. And
he's looking for something in the Boyden, or?
Well, no. And I can honestly say Boyden is not haunted.
Okay.
But he's a motivational speaker, and he does various programs. And this time he's gonna his motivational talk will correlate with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, believe it or not. So he'll be speaking about that, and we'll also have a medium with him, accompany and speaking to the audience as well.
Excellent.
So.
Now, interesting, and by the way, we're going to get to contact information in just a minute, but you mentioned all these things. How big is the space, this community room? The old library that we all know with the spaces upstairs and downstairs didn't seem big enough to handle this type of itinerary. So let's talk about the space itself.
Well, first of all, if you haven't gone, please come to the library. Visit us, go to a program, or just read the paper or something. Our community room is spacious. It can hold up to 80.
Okay.
It could hold a little more, but then at that point, the sardine factor comes in where you're getting squished and whatnot. But it's got an overhead projector. It's all has state-of-the-art technology there. We have amps and whatnot. So when we do have the musical programs, they're able to hook right in using their speaker. So, and it's right on the ground floor. As soon as you enter the library, it's off to the left-hand side. And then we have the fuller room, which can seat about 12 to 15. Those are usually held for our trustee meetings, who are the governing body of the library. But then for smaller meetings as well. We've had quite a few there. It's constantly booked, constantly busy, which is a great thing.
Yes, it is great. So, folks, if you are looking to learn more about the Boyden Library, check out some of their summer activities, or get information about how to get your child participating in the summer reading program. You can log on to their website at www.boydenlibrary.org. I got it right. Boydenlibrary.org, or you can connect with them through the link off of the town website. You can also give them a call at 508-543-1245. That's their direct number, or just stop in and visit them. Manny's up on the second floor. He's always there. The great folks are there who you have such consistent staff, and they've been there for so long. It must mean it's a good work environment, and that they're dedicated.
Yeah, they are fantastic. I couldn't do what I'm doing at that library if it wasn't for the staff. I mean, everyone, Vicki, who's like our personal greeter as soon as you enter the library, she's fantastic. Everyone is, and in order for a library to succeed, it has to be a well-oiled machine, and everyone has to work together, and that's what happens. So I'm very blessed.
And my neighbor Vicki on Baker Street there, I'm a neighbor of the Boyden as well. I walk past it every night when I go home at 10 Bird Street on the corner of Baker and Bird. So with the library in the news in other communities for lack of funding or issues. What is the business status of the Boyden Library? Healthy? Everything well funded?
We are very healthy, you know, and I think that goes to not only our citizens of Foxborough, also goes to the municipal aspect. You know, our Board of Selectmen, our town manager, our advisory committee, they've been very supportive and continue to be supportive. You know, I don't ask for the moon, but what I ask for is for the library to be fully functional, you know, and I've been very lucky and to have such a support, which is great because I can definitely tell you on a personal level, not many communities are like this. There are many communities where library directors have to struggle to keep those doors open. You know, I can't tell you how many libraries have to cut hours and cut people.
We do read about it, and I suppose we sometimes take our blessings for granted, but it's always good to have an opportunity to share and remind each of us that we have a good thing going with the Boyden Library. And you also have a very strong board of trustees who know many of those folks, Kevin Penners and folks who have been on there for quite a while, who really care and give. You also have the Friends of the Boyden Library, and the annual book sale is coming up, I do believe.
Yes.
Or is it a semi-annual book sale?
It's a semi-annual.
Semi-annual book sale. I know this.
But I do want to just briefly say about the trustees. They are so dedicated, and I am very lucky. I have 6 trustees that support the library. They use the library, and that's something that you don't see in every community where a trustee will just show up once a month. Our trustees, they are library card users. They check
They're card-carrying library users.
They are, and I'm very lucky. I mean, it all starts at the top, and that would be Kevin Penners, who is our trustee chair, who's been not only a really good trustee chairman, but a good friend as well, someone I can speak to, and has been very supportive through everything. Our friends of the library, they are like rock stars. I mean, they're not getting paid, just a dedicated group of individuals that have book sales and have various raffles throughout the year. And that money goes right back to the library for programming. The majority of the summer reading program, it all stems from the Friends doing their wonderful book sale. And we're going to have our book sale coming up in May. And not just books. We have DVDs, we have Blu-ray, we have puzzles, we have vinyl records. And it does so well. We have vinyl.
Vinyl?
Yes. Most of the vinyl records come from my collection because I'm an avid vinyl collectors, so the vinyl records I already have duplicates of.
Really? Well, we'll have to check out the semi-annual book sale. This year it's on Thursday, May 17th, Friday, May 18th, and Saturday, May 19th at the Boyden Library. It's usually in the basement. There's also a section for the children also, so it's not combined anymore. You actually have expanded it.
Yeah.
The Friends of the Boyden Library raise so much money, and they're so supportive. And as you mentioned, they're all volunteers, but this is the way town government is set up with the Friends organizations. And those are a critical component of the funding for your programming, as it is in other departments, but the Boyden Library in particular, because you are doing an awful lot.
Yeah. And I couldn't do what I'm doing now if it wasn't for the support of the Friends of the Library. And again, I'm going to mention again, there are so many cities and towns that are envious of us, having that. I can tell you firsthand, the library I came from, it was one of those where you had to struggle. You had to basically go at odds with various departments because there was only so much money.
Capturing limited resources can be a Hunger Games situation, of course, and I think we in Foxborough are blessed with a robust revenue stream that is well managed and conservatively approached by our finance department, and I guess you're proof of that approach works. Yeah,
I mean the municipal side of this town is just, again, I mentioned the well-oiled machine, and it just works so well, and I'm very grateful for that.
So Manny Leite is the director of the Boyden Library, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I usually introduce folks when they get here, and we still have not met Manny the man. So Manny, tell us a little bit about you, yourself, your education, how you came to join us and our family here in Foxborough.
Well, I've been a librarian, believe it or not, for over 20 years, which I think about once
Started
in a
when you
while.
were 11 years old. Good for you.
I wish,
Congratulations.
yes. I was actually going to school to be an attorney, and I was working at the library at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth.
Okay.
While I was taking classes. And I was becoming more and more interested in the inner workings of the library versus going the legal route.
Well, the law's loss is our library's gain, I suppose.
Well, my best friends are all attorneys, and I know I couldn't do what they encounter.
Not for nothing, but that's not a sentence you often hear, so good for you.
Yes, yeah.
We've gotten that quote and a James Earl Jones
Yes.
quote, so this is an interesting program. So you graduate from UMass Dartmouth.
Yes, and I go to University of Rhode Island, a master's degree in library information sciences.
Okay.
And from there, I had moved to Florida and became a reference librarian down there, and enjoyed it and excelled and started to go up the ladder when it comes to management. And then I had moved back to New England, and I was assistant director at the Tiverton Public Library, which was a great thing because that's where I grew up. So the library that I used to go to, I was the assistant director there.
Okay.
Then a few years after that, I had the opportunity to become a director of a library, and I became the director of the East Bridgewater Public Library over in Plymouth County. And I was director there for 9 years. And the Boyden Library was one of those libraries, and it's part of the Sales Network, East Bridgewater as well. Sales Network has over 70 libraries and branches and serve 40 communities. The Boyden Library is one of the true gems in the Sales Network. So when the opportunity came up, I jumped at it and was very fortunate to become the next director here. And it's been fantastic.
Wow. Well, it seems like you've been here a lot longer than just 2015, but I suppose in the grand scheme of things, the level of activity and the wide-ranging approaches that you're taking to how to make the library relevant and useful and a resource is a real testament to how you've taken this mission and really created its own niche and how the Boyden is alive and vibrant today. So I jokingly alluded to libraries are passé and how on earth are you actually making it relevant? Why bother keeping the doors open? I think you've demonstrated here exactly why our Boyden Library and libraries in general are a much needed resource. Now, we are so close to running out of time. You always get the last word, but I just wanted to share again with everybody that you can reach Manny at the Boyden Library. He's on the second floor up there. He's always been there when I've popped in. Actually, last time you found me.
I did.
You chased me down the stairs. And their telephone number out there is 508-543-1245. If you somehow don't know where the center of town is or you're coming from out of town, plug 10 Bird Street into your GPS and you'll find it, no problem. Corner of Baker and Bird. Of course, you can go to www.boydenlibrary.org and you can find out about all the great programs. There's also registration there for the summer reading program, as well as the current schedule for all of the other events that are going on. Sales Network. I just want to touch on this real quickly. That's comprised of how many communities?
It's comprised of 40 communities, but it totals over 70 libraries. Not only public libraries, but also 2 academics, Bristol Community College, Mass Maritime, the other one, the Fall River Historical Society, and then various schools.
Wow. So if I'm looking for a resource and I wanted to see what was available in the entire network, do I have to come to the Boyden Library or can I look it up online?
You could look it up online. You go to our website, boydenlibrary.org, and then you just click on the sales catalog or the online catalog. And then when you do a search, you're going to get not just our library, but all the libraries that are represented in sales. Sales goes as far as down as Fall River, Westport, over to New Bedford, and over to East Bridgewater. So it encompasses a lot.
But it all starts off with a library card.
Yes, it does.
So if you don't have your library card, you got to go get one. And I will say from experience, I was in there last week and Vicki at the desk took care of me very nicely. Apparently my old card had expired somehow. And so it was only a 2-minute process. extremely easy, and I am now a card-carrying member of the Boyden Library Club.
Excellent.
So great. So Manny, thank you so much for joining us. Manny Leite, the director of the Foxborough Boyden Library. So many exciting things coming up this summer. You've got concerts, you've got readings, you have the big gala coming up in September, the summer reading program. Tell us something that you would really want us to remember as we go out the door here.
Well, I think you've mentioned it a couple of times about libraries, and there's still a few, how can I put it?
Things that we assume that we know that we don't really know.
Of libraries are just books or kind of passé.
We're all in the microfiche machines, and there's cobwebs, and that sort of
that's
thing.
something like that drives me as a library director to prove that.
Question, do we still have microfiche machines?
We do, we do.
But we also have computers, I saw.
We have computers. Stuff like that drives me to get more individuals into the library. So, and other directors feel the same way. And with Boyden Library, just all the various opportunities that we have and that we're able to offer to our patrons, the sky's the limit with us, I'm a librarian, but I'm also an innovator, I want to say. I want to try everything, bring it to the library, see if it works and whatnot. I mean, we're having a cooking series coming up.
Really?
We're going to have one on Portuguese cuisine, which is near and dear to my heart. But we're going to have one on gluten-free cooking, as well as clean eating, a clean eating workshop. So we just run the gambit. We have so many great programs and opportunities, and the sky's the limit with us. It's just, the continued support from the local government as well as our citizens of Foxborough. So.
Well, Manny Leite, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
Director
you.
of the Boyden Library. Clearly, we can see that our library is alive and thriving. And as you say, the sky is the limit. Well, hopefully we will all take advantage of that and go in, visit, learn more, use the services of the Boyden Library and enrich our own lives.
Be great.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join me and my guest, Manny Leite, Director of the Boyden Library. Remember, all these programs and exciting things they have going on, you can find them online at www.boydenlibrary.org. If you forget any of the information here, of course, you can log on to our website, www.fcatv.org. Click on the Foxborough Central link, and you'll find this program there. On behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access, I want to thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to see you back here again on this, your favorite cable channel. I'm Bob Hickey. Have a great day.